my kitchen. I'm Dina from simplyhomecooked.com. I'm super excited to be sharing this birthday cake pop recipe with you. It's one of the top recipes on my blog, and for a good reason. After making it over a dozen times, I've come up with a foolproof recipe that I think you guys will absolutely love. I know cake pops can be a little intimidating. I mean, not gonna lie, the first time I made them, it was a total fail. I mean, the cake pops were like falling off the stick, and once I actually got it on the stick, after I dipped it into the candy coating was way too thick and it was just falling off. I mean, it was a huge mess. But worry not, I've made all the mistakes and fixed them for you so you too can master the art of cake pop making. Let's get right into it by making the cake according to the instructions on the back of the box. In a bowl, combine the dry cake mix, 1 cup of water, half a cup of oil, and 3 eggs. Using an electric beater, mix the batter for a minute or so until smooth. Then spray a 9 by 13 inch baking dish with cooking spray and pour the batter into the baking dish. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes. Once you remove the cake from the oven, run a knife or spatula around the edges of the dish to release any of the cake that may have stuck to the sides. Carefully transfer the cake onto a cooling rack and let it rest until completely cooled. From there, you want to trim and remove any of the brown edges around the entire cake. You can either discard them or snack on them later. I find using a knife the most efficient way to remove the outer layer of the cake. A lot of people skip this step, but I find it very important. Since the edges of the cake are more dry, they will prevent your cake pop from sticking together and eventually cause the cake pop to fall apart. In a bowl, begin separating the cake into fine pieces using your fingers. If any larger pieces fall into the bowl, just pick them back up and break them up a little more. Once the cake is finely crumbled, scoop 2 tablespoons of Pillsbury Creamy Supreme Vanilla Frosting into the bowl of cake crumbs. Using your hands, mix the frosting into the cake as best as you can. A good way to know if the frosting is mixed well is by compressing a handful of the mixture into your hands. If the mixture holds its shape and there's no traces of marbled frosting, you're done mixing. To begin shaping each cake pop, grab a small handful of the mixture into your hand and compress it as tightly as you can. Form it into a ball and place it into the 1 1/4 inch cake pop former, also known as a meatballer. Yes, this is technically made for shaping meatballs, but it works great for cake pops too. Once you've compressed the cake ball into the former, you'll see as you pull it out, it has a thin line running across the cake pop. This is a weak point that will cause the cake pop to fall apart. Take the cake pop back into your hand, compress it once more, and round it out into a ball again. Place each formed cake ball into a baking dish lined with parchment paper and set aside. In a small bowl, heat a 1/4 cup of candy melts until melted. Dip the end of each cake pop stick into the warm candy melts and insert it about halfway through each cake ball. Place the cake pops back onto the parchment paper and freeze for 15 minutes. Meanwhile, heat 12 ounces of pink candy melts in 30-second intervals. Whisk 1 1/2 teaspoons of Crisco shortening or coconut oil into the candy melts. Adding shortening helps thin out the melted candy so it's not too heavy on the fragile cake pops. Pour the well-mixed melted candy into a tall, narrow cup. Then slowly dip the cake pop into the melted candy. Do not stir. Instead, tilt the cake pop back and forth to ensure it's fully coated. You can even shake it a little bit if need be. Pull the coated cake pop out and hold it at a 45-degree angle. Begin tapping the hand that's holding the cake pop and the excess melted candy will drip off. Shaking the cake pop will cause the cake pop to fall off the stick. While the candy coating is still warm, quickly sprinkle the cake pop with white nonpareils and place it into a block of styrofoam to cool and stiffen. And there you have it, a delicious Starbucks birthday cake pop right at home. Cake pops are not so difficult after all. It just takes a little bit of patience and practice. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found these tips fun and helpful. Please be sure to share, like, and subscribe to my channel.